Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today's stock is Humana, ticker HUM, and today we're gonna talk about the stock because this is a position that I have already entered earlier this week. First thing you notice, of course, is a big drop here. What has happened? Well, unlike I normally am with my positions, this is a stock that I have entered in a reactive manner. So there have been some news in recent weeks that have escalated into earnings announcement just a few days ago. And what has happened is that the company expects now much higher costs for the delivery of Medicare Advantage service provider. So the company came into the earnings call, announced that they have a loss. That's not great, of course. But more importantly, now they expect the 2024 EPS to be somewhere around $16. So compare that with the original expectation of 28.91 dollars per share, and you can tell right away that that is a 40% decrease, right, from the previous levels. Now, more importantly is what happens next, because I am just not jumping into the bandwagon of a stock that has already dropped, I think somewhere around 10% plus already, right? So we're just not reacting to this. We can see that the stock was at a low multiple, 13x, but now after these expectations, it's been repriced to 18x. So a few things there. One, it could be coming to a lower multiple, right? As it is a region that has been there before. And this could be really the catalyst that takes the stock, if we look at the bigger picture, into a lower low. So we see here, we are sitting around the 350 level at a multi-year resistance, okay? So see how this happened in 2018, was a key level in 19, around 2021 as well, several times, several times. And we just went through that or are hovering around it. So what can we expect? Well, if we look closer, this could be free falling or it could just bounce back a little bit. As a matter of fact, there's been some analysts, for example, at Mizuho, saying that, okay, this announcement that they've done is the worst possible scenario and that it leaves room for the company to come at a later date and announce better news. And that is possible. But what is also a reality is that shortly after this announcement, right, where we see the drop here, there's been plenty of analysts coming to downgrade the stock. So, for example, we go here into the news. There we go. So, cutting price target to 400 from 648. Obviously, that is a big drop from 550 to 430. And we have as well larger and more reputable investment banks doing the same. Jefferies from 470 to 411, Cantor Fitzgerald from almost 600 to 400, UBS, Deutsche. So not only a number of price target cuts, but also some downgrades. And the jury's out really on what's going to happen because many of them are still keeping them uh, on the same recommendation, even though they have decreased the price target. But I do think this could be some sector, right? Because the sectors at the moment, and that's what's caused this news, into a state of tension. I don't think that tension is going to dissipate anytime soon. It's something that the company has to work around. And coming back to their statement as to, okay, well, what happens after this? They think that by 2025, their EPS is going to be somewhere around 22 and $26 compared to the initial projection of $37. Depending on which band you look at, right? That's between a 30 and 40% drop in 2025 EPS. And more importantly, that's still below the 2023 EPS. So we have to ask ourselves, right? If it's below the 2023 EPS, well, definitely it's going to be below the price ranges that uh, we have seen here. And of course, that is a nominal number. It's not adjusted for inflation. So that 22-26 projection for EPS in 2025 is not the same value in real terms than that same earnings figure in 2023. So where does this all leave us? Well, how they expect to achieve that 2025. So the main driver for that EPS growth is that very same program that is created the current issue, right? The company is saying that they expect Medicare Advantage to help them get to that number. So there's not much clarity on that. It doesn't really acknowledge how that is going to be addressed, but it doesn't sound like the company is changing their business model for the time being. Now, that could happen, and that's one of the risks of this trade. There could be an announcement of a new management operating plan where the company addresses this issue. And the stock, yes, it could bounce back. But at the moment, I think there's a pretty good opportunity to drop to, say, around the 320, 330 mark. Not anytime soon. I think it's gonna bounce back a little bit. So me personally, I have structured this position with put options uh, initially on a one-to-one ratio, but also in a calendar expiring in mid-February. After that, it becomes a vertical on a 2-1 ratio. So effectively what I'm saying, or the way I have positioned myself is I'm kind of agnostic until the 15th of February, 3 weeks from now, where I think the price would probably not drop below 325. It's just going to stay, not in a different price level to what we're looking at. And you can see that because the stock went up yesterday, and it seems like it's going up again during market hours. So I think there will be a little bit of bounce back, and possibly after that, a bigger retracement in the price. So that's where I have played my cards in this one. We'll have to contradict, excuse me, we'll have to keep an eye on how the stock performs. But also, coming back to that risk that we mentioned from Mizuho, where they were saying, yeah, okay, they have delivered the worst possible news so they can recover. Well, I'm not sure how closely they look into the statements made from the company because the company literally said that their initial EPS adjusted outlook of around $16 is assuming higher costs will persist in 2024. And they also say initial claims data suggests that these challenges are not seasonal or short-term in nature, which is one of the main reasons that Mizuho was putting in place to make their statement. So really think that there's room here for the stock to keep going down. Short interest can, of course, rise a lot more. So this company was dragging some peers down. But interestingly enough, the short interest of some of those companies is decreasing. And in this one, as you can see, is increasing. So we see dollars being put to work for this stock to drop And of course, it's a stock that many people are trying to get out of. So I think it's an interesting opportunity. We'll keep an eye on that. Thank you for coming to the channel and see you soon.